Let's talk about the most banned children's book in the 1990s, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Guys, they did this book so dirty, I need to tell you about it. And if you guys don't know, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is a children's horror book that was written by Alvin Schwartz and illustrated by Stephen Gammell. But these books compiled a bunch of folklore stories, accompanied by really creepy drawings, like this one. But these drawings unfortunately led to the book being in the top 10 most banned books in the 1990s. That's because parents deemed the book to have inappropriate and violent themes. The book started being pulled off of school shelves, leading to a drawing redesign in 2011 by another artist named Brett Hillquist, leading the drawings to be dramatically changed, and basically no hate to that artist, but not scary at all. Examples include the dream going from this to this, the haunted house going from this to this, Harold, one of the most popular stories, going from this to this, the red spot going from this to this, as well as so many others. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. And this of course led to multiple resellers selling the book with the original drawings at very high prices. Fans were so disappointed until 2017 when this was released. The books finally got republished with the original drawings. But unfortunately, these don't have the original covers, which is okay. I feel like most fans just wanted like the drawings back. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this only happened because 2 years later, there was a film adaptation by Guillermo del Toro, and this re-release literally says, soon to be a motion picture. Personally, I don't think the book should have been banned at all. But if this was terrifying, then just close the book. But what do you guys think? Do you think this book should have been banned? Yes or no? Well, what are your thoughts? Can
I ask again what you saw?
Yeah. You know, the reason why I probably haven't come out yet, because it's like so cringe, I did not see anything.
What?
I mean, I think y'all knew that.
Okay. We honestly had no idea. Yeah.
I was really trying to have a calm and relaxing night tonight. I'm even reading this book and it's almost done. By the way, go read it. It's amazing. Anyway, my friend sends me that video. Now, her and I have talked about this story so many times because of how bizarre it is. And we both have seen the body cam footage, so we're really confused by this interview. She thought the plane was gonna blow up.
Being dead serious. Do not let that flight leave.
You ready? Let's go.
Flight's not gonna make it to Orlando. Oh yeah, until y'all see that flight blow up.
You know, that mother effer that isn't real, she thought he was gonna take down the whole plane. But can I show you the body cam footage of that person?
Tiffany Gomez. They had her information from her boarding pass and believed she was likely intoxicated. Officers found the man Gomez was accused of hitting, the one who, quote, wasn't real.
No, it's okay. Yeah, she just pushing me like, you are the part of the, I don't know who's talking to in the phone. Okay. So I was just sitting right here and she just coming pushing me and then she just.
Did she say anything before that to you? No?
No.
And you didn't say anything to her?
No.
Are you okay? You hurt?
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
You sure?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I have my flight, so it's just going to be like in the next 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
So that assault mean, what does that mean?
Assault? It means to attack, to fight somebody, to push them, hurt them.
Oh, okay.
Right? To bring some kind of harm, bodily injury.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, she just pushed me.
You don't want to do anything about it?
It's okay.
Okay.
Gangs are using witchcraft to commit crimes.
Did you know that Mexican cartels are using witchcraft to fight against the police? And it's actually working. 350 police officers were just trained on how to fight back against witchcraft, voodoo, and demonic possessions. This all started when Robert Almonte got a warrant to go into a house selling drugs. Once they got there, they found a woman had put Robert's and his partner's names on voodoo dolls. The woman was a witch or a bruja, and unfortunately for the detectives, their luck got worse and worse as weeks went by, until they actually went to a church and got blessed by a priest. A few years ago, officers found a beheaded man in an apartment by himself. He was surrounded by candles and a Ouija board. Cops have seen a tick in witchcraft in the last few years. The difference now is that witchcraft is being targeted to certain police officers.
By the way, this video is scripted and for entertainment purposes only. Stay weird.
Ushi Oni, the Spider Ox Demon.
This yokai mostly resides near bodies of water and is known for attacking and terrorizing people. Ushi Oni has the head of an ox and the body like a spider. They are a cruel and savage beast. They breathe toxic poison and they love to eat humans. They are lurkers, attacking people who draw close to their lairs. The cruelest Ushi Oni will rave the same towns over and over, inflicting terrible curses and bringing diseases with them.
This woman was shot and killed by a real-life killer clown. Marlene Warren opened her door to see a clown holding flowers and balloons. As the 40-year-old woman reached out to take the gift, the clown pulled out shooting her in front of her son. Her son said this was a full clown costume. Makeup, a red nose, wig, and the clown calmly walked away and drove off in a white Chrysler. And Marlene Warren sadly passed away in the hospital a short time later. This happened in 1990 in Palm Beach, Florida, but it sadly remained unsolved for 27 years. And the killer was sentenced this year in 2023. Her husband Michael looked suspicious because he was not home at the time. But because of the elaborate disguise, her son was unable to make a helpful police sketch. The same year of the murder, a coworker of Marlene's husband tipped off police that his wife had been having an affair. His wife left him, and then Michael, now being widowed, married her in 2002. And in 2017, Sheila Keene Warren was arrested for the murder of Marlene Warren. So what was the most damning evidence, and why would solving this take 27 years? Testimony from a local shop placed Sheila buying the costume 2 days before the incident. Also, this was May, so I don't know why she picked a clown costume. Here's another photo of her, and what I'm assuming is a different clown costume. Maybe this lady just had a thing for clowns. A white Chrysler was located a few days after Marlene's passing, and inside they found a long brown hair and orange fibers. Similar orange fibers were found in Sheila's home, and they were likely from the clown wig. This was in 1990, and DNA testing was in its infancy. The cold case was reopened, and the brown hair was tested to be Sheila's, Michael's new wife. She was arrested in 2017, but wasn't sentenced until 2023. Sheila was sentenced to just 12 years for the murder as part of a plea deal. And with time served, she's actually going to get out sometime relatively soon. Michael was not charged, even though I'm sure he knew that his second wife killed his first one. In a recent interview with Michael and Marlene's son, he said that he's just glad to have closure. But what do you guys think? How long should she have gotten for the murder of Marlene Warren?
Severe drought in the Amazon has revealed over 100 rock carvings, and they may be up to 2,000 years old. These pre-Columbian petroglyphs were discovered in the Brazilian city of Mantuas, at a point where two rivers meet called Encontro das Águas. This isn't the first time that these carvings have come to the surface. It's actually the fourth time in 20 years that droughts have been severe enough to reveal them. Now, these carvings are of different things, including humans, animals, and geometric shapes. Archaeologists have preliminarily dated the carvings using radiocarbon dating on objects and ceramics that have been found near them. However, it is far from certain that the people who made the carvings also made the ceramics, and more research is going to need to be done. The area is a Brazilian cultural heritage site, both for its beauty and its historical significance, with several artifacts being discovered in the area since the 1970s. An indigenous archaeologist called Carlos Augusto da Silva went on an expedition in late October and counted more than 100 different petroglyphs. Now, this year's drought is the most severe since records began to be kept in 1902, and currently the river is at its lowest point ever. And as of October, the river level is dropping on average 4.2 inches or 10.6 centimeters each day. Now, whilst this is an exciting rediscovery for archaeology, this is concerning for climate change.
There's a crazy theory going around.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard this one, because this is an old theory, but there's proof about it now.
Okay.
So, you know the Mars theory?
That there's aliens on Mars?
Nah. So, there's a theory that Mars was the original planet that humans were from. And then something happened that we all had to fly to another planet and live on. So there used to be civilization that lived on Mars.
But now it's all dried up, right?
Now it's all dried up. Now back this. On Mars, there's an element on the periodic table called xenon. Now, xenon on Earth is only found after a nuclear explosion.
No.
Oh shit, that's not even the super mode button.
I said no. What the hell?
Yeah, so theory, and it goes hand in hand now. What if on Mars there was a nuclear warfare, destroyed the whole planet, but people were able to escape just in time, landed on Earth, and they had to restart from nothing.
So we are the aliens.
We're the aliens.
What the hell? Nah, that's kind of weird. But that makes sense also.
Because that's how low-key the Earth would end up looking like.
Yeah.
We did have
if something happened like that, yeah.
Breaking news, a missing nurse has been found deceased in a car at an airport. Family members of the missing 31-year-old nurse reported her missing on Monday. Then on Wednesday evening around 6:30 p.m., state police that were stationed at the airport discovered her body in a vehicle. Additionally, when they located her, she was in the passenger seat of the vehicle. They said, quote, evidence indicated that she was a victim of a homicide. After further investigation, authorities issued an arrest warrant for her partner. During further investigation, it was determined that her partner actually boarded a flight to Kenya. At this time, authorities are piecing together surveillance footage to come up with a timeline. The FBI has an international operations office in Kenya's capital, and Jennifer Coffendorfer, a former FBI agent, says it's likely agents are already in communications with local authorities. At this time, they have not provided a motive nor any further details. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
This woman murdered her boyfriend for $30 million. 47-year-old Ina Kanoyer poisoned her boyfriend, 51-year-old Stephen Riley, after she found out that he inherited $30 million. Unfortunately for Ina, Stephen was never going to receive any money. This all started when Stephen received an email from an anonymous person who claimed to be his distant relative and offered him $30 million for absolutely no reason. Stephen believed that this was real and arranged a time to meet with this person to sign off on the cash. And on September 3rd, Stephen and Ina went to the airport where this person was supposed to meet them, but they never showed up. Now, this is where things take a turn. Before going to the airport, Ina made sure that Stephen drank a cup of tea that she had made him, which was poisoned with antifreeze. It did not take long for Stephen to feel extremely sick, and while others tried to take him to the hospital, Ina said that he just had a heat stroke and he should just go home. Ina waited until the next day to call paramedics, and at this point, Stephen was already deceased. According to their close friends, Stephen was planning to leave Ina when he received the money and share all the money with his kids. But she wasn't gonna let that happen. She believed she had rights to his money as his common law wife. Unfortunately for Ina, there was never any money, so she did this all for no reason, and now she faces up to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Final photo of the Douglas brothers is truthfully one of the most sinister that's even out there. This is the last known photo of the Douglas brothers, and it was taken by their friend Michael. When I first looked at it, I was trying to figure out where exactly they were, but they're basically in an underground sewer system. They were kind of daring each other to go in there and explore it. But if you look right in between them towards the background, you would see that there's something very wrong with this picture. But before we dive in, just another huge thank you to you guys, because I'm still not over that you made us top 10 in the country. Actually crazier the more that I say it out loud. Go click the link in my bio so you can listen on Spotify or Apple. Looking towards the central back of the photo, you would see they were not alone in the tunnel. Just this haunting outline of a face of someone else who was down there with them.
Have you guys heard of Albert Pike?
No.
In the 1800s, predicted the Third World War.
What are you talking about?
He was in the Illuminati. There was a letter that was found. He wrote down the game plan of what the Illuminati was going to do for the 3 world wars.
What did he predict?
Basically, this would be the last war.
Because we all live in harmony afterwards.
Let me just read what he
Okay.
said. It's adding up quite a bit.
boy.
So he said, the Third World War, taking advantage of the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and the State of Israel destroy each other. The other nations, more divided, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete exhaustion. We shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm which will show clearly to the nations the most bloody turmoil. And the multitude, delusioned with Christianity, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer.
If you're like me, you are not gonna like this guy by the end of the video. This man was just charged with 83 counts of attempted murder after he tried to take down an entire Alaska Airlines flight. And a reminder that if you have a dark curiosity, you'll love the podcast. So in late October, Joseph Emerson was flying from Washington to San Francisco. And he himself was an off-duty pilot, so they were letting him sit in this jump seat behind the pilots. But then all of a sudden, he got this dazed look in his eyes and he just says, "I'm not okay." And he lunged towards these levers, which are the ones that cut the fuel to the engines. These cut the fuel if there's like a fire on the plane, and also they act as fire extinguishers. But if you pull them in the middle of a flight, you are not gonna have a good time getting down. According to Emerson, he had not slept in the last 40 hours and he had taken shrooms for the first time ever 48 hours prior to the event. He said he felt like he was in a dream and pulling the levers was the one thing he could do to wake himself up. And a further investigation showed that he had his hand on the lever and he had pulled it about halfway. Luckily, the pilots and the flight attendants got him away from the levers before anything happened, and you can see where they diverted. But as he was being pulled out of the cockpit, he turned to a flight attendant and said, "You need to cuff me right now or it's gonna get bad." Everyone was fine, and the passengers actually didn't even know what was going on until after the whole thing happened.
Sorry, they just found what? What is this? It's a bit sus. Scientists believe they have actually just found Noah's Ark. I don't know what to think of this, I really don't, but here's the evidence and you can decide for yourself. You're probably all very aware of Noah's Ark from the Bible, whether you believe it or not. It's a thing. Now, over in Turkey, in 1956, this site was discovered, so this isn't like completely new. Now, in 2023, we've got archaeologists over there investigating some other stuff around there, and they found something insane. They have aged rock and soil samples, which they say are from the Ark. They said this dates back around 5,000 years, which is exactly when it would have been in the Bible. Where it gets crazier, it makes me, trip out a little. The whole thing about Noah's Ark was obviously a great flood, and then people got on the boat and the animals, blah blah blah. In these samples, they found that this actually contained marine material, sea life, meaning it was very likely there was a period where this was underwater, and it's clearly not now. In the Bible, it claims the Ark settled on a mountain in Turkey, which you guessed it is literally where this is right now. So I don't know what to make of this, but please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Wait, Bob Ross was actually a serial killer?
There's a theory Bob Ross paints the landscapes and paints the areas of places where he hid bodies.
What?
Yeah.
Nah.
So take this in. So I'm going to show you a picture. This is one of his most famous paintings ever.
Yeah, and Bob Ross is like super innocent too.
Yeah, yeah.
He looks super innocent.
This painting, it's called Happy Little Accidents, right?
Yeah.
Now, this painting is an exact comparison to this real life place with this tree.
Okay.
And at this location, they found 5 dead women, half eaten alive.
Half eaten?
And buried under the tree.
Where is this?
I think this is in the States somewhere.
Who would eat bodies though?
I don't know. But keep in mind the title, Happy Little Accidents. So
Happy
Bob Ross painted it
Okay.
and titled it Happy Little Accidents. Why is that such a sus name? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what are his other paintings like? Also like,
oh, there's more.
murder.
There's another one that's
Murder on
like betrayal and grief.
Oh,
there's different titles.
Yeah.
But the theory goes that every single painting that he's done is a clue, or at least even the exact location of where he hid these bodies that he's killed.
By the way, this video is scripted and for entertainment purposes only. Stay weird.
I seen this video. It was a ghost call or whatever. So this police dispatcher received a call from a funeral home, but it was closed. And this happened at 3:28 a.m. by the way. I'm gonna let you guys hear the call and stuff, and let me see what you guys hear.
I hate hearing things, bro. It respects the cops, bro, because I feel like cops be saying some and they can't say anything.
911, this is Erica. How can I help you? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, I heard like hello and it's cold.
I heard whispers. Apparently, the guy said help me, and then after she said hello again, it said help.
Yeah,
because
I heard can you help me?
And then they go send out police, a unit to go check out what's going on, if everything's okay. Guy gets there, realizes that the place is locked up. Place is locked up, bro. It's dark in there, and there's no sign of like life in the building, bro. So it's like, who the fuck would have called
at that time?
Yeah.
Where was that at?
Colorado.
If there are any cops out there who experience freaky shit, let us call you. Let's hear that scary shit.
You know what's the craziest part too?
So we get to the farm, we park in front of the barn in the barn lot, and to get to this house, you have to go through a gate, go over an electric fence, and down a hill. So here we go, the sun's setting. We walk into the house and we go just into the front room. This house is falling apart. My dad planned on tearing it down this year. Time got away from him and he's gonna be doing it next year. So I thought if I do want to play a Ouija board in this house, because there are some spirits in this house that I would love to talk to, I need to do it this Halloween when the bell's thin, because I may not get to next Halloween. So here we go. My backpack in tote that has spirit board, rosemary, a candle holder, selenite, black salt, and matches. So I'm unloading all of this. We find a broken desk that we clean off and put the spirit board on. And typically, whenever you are playing a spirit board, it's a very good idea to cast a ring of salt protection around you so that whatever you're contacting cannot hurt you. But I had an idea.
Gruesome facts you didn't know, part 248.
In 1978, students of a Harrisburg middle school attempted to set a Guinness World Record for the largest game of tug-of-war ever played. For about 12 minutes, roughly 2,300 students tugged on the 2,000-foot rope before disaster struck. The rope unexpectedly snapped, recoiling several thousand pounds of stored energy. Nearly 200 children were injured, 5 suffered from severed fingertips, and 1 lost a thumb. And hundreds of others suffered second and third degree burns on their hands. Jewish-Polish ballerina Francesca Mann arrived at Auschwitz when she was only 26 years old. When she was told to remove her clothes, she did so in a provocative manner as to distract the guards. While distracted, she managed to grab the roll call officer's gun and shoot him right in the head. She also managed to shoot another guard in the stomach. Other women did join in on the rebellion before they were horrifically gunned down. In 1971, Sherry Johnson became pregnant and gave birth when she was only 10 years old. This occurred after both a minister and a 20-year-old member of her Florida church raped her. To cover up the crime, she was forced by the church and her mother to marry her rapist. She legally married the 20-year-old man when she was only 11 years old, and over the course of 7 years had 6 more children with him.
Have you ever heard of the Dyatlov Pass incident?
Yes, it sounds familiar. Remind me.
So basically, in 1959, there was a group of 9 students that went into the Opus Mountains in Russia. They don't know what it was. And this was all over the news, all over the world, because nobody knew what the happened to them. Like, they all died in weird ways. A lot of them looked like they had trauma where they got hit by a car, where like somebody like threw them or something like that. And it was just mad weird. So they think it's a Yeti because they were taking pictures throughout the whole entire journey because they were supposed to get like the little hiking certifications or whatever. Yeah. And they actually caught a picture of something. It's literally like a person covered in hair. And they said that's the moment that they died.
That was the last picture.
That's the last picture. And it's crazy, right? Because years prior, Joseph Stalin was interested in all of like the Darwinism, how we evolved from apes. He had a scientist. He paid him $10,000 to get chimpanzees because what he was trying to do, he was trying to create ape-like human soldiers. So they think that that might have been an experiment that actually happened and got loose.
Breaking news, the judge says he will not ban cameras in the courtroom for the Kohberger case. Judge John Judge, who is overseeing the Kohberger case, has urged the spectators and media to, quote, have some dignity and some restraint. He finished by saying, quote, I haven't put a decision out yet, but what I'm going to do is take control of the cameras in the courtroom. I am not going to ban cameras in the courtroom, but I need to have more control over what the cameras are doing and what media or people who are not media are doing with the filming. I know I can only control so much, and that's why I continue to urge people to be patient and have some dignity and some restraint. As you may remember, there is a gag order in place barring lawyers from both sides and investigators, even expert witnesses, from discussing details to the public. If you missed yesterday's status conference hearing, click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
So this is an influencer named Lily, and her content is going to restaurants and trying new foods. Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, I love food. But people are mad at Lily because she posted a compilation recently. It was of the many times waiters misgendered her and accidentally called her sir. It was by waiters at many different restaurants.
I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir. Yeah, like it's like a knife in the heart. I did specifically ask ahead of time not to be called sir.
An understandable reason to be upset, right? But the problem people are having is every time a waiter accidentally misgenders her once or twice, Lily calls for them to get their manager.
I was wondering if there's a manager I could talk to about something that happened. Yeah, I was called sir. Oh, okay. It just really sucks every time it happens. Sorry about that. I don't need to be called ma'am. I just need to not be called sir, you know?
One instance, a waiter even apologizes for accidentally calling her sir, but she still wanted to speak to the manager, seemingly trying to get him fired. Now people have rated her comments calling her sir and claiming that she's just doing this for attention and setting up the waiters to look bad. But what do you think? Is it wrong of her to actually call the manager on these waiters?
They also observed that, it had always been that .44 caliber gun, and the shooter seemed to target women with long, dark hair. When the composite sketches were released from the various attacks, NYPD officials noted that they were likely searching for multiple shooters, For whatever reason, I don't know why they thought that it was multiple, maybe because thought somebody was like trying to copycat or mimic this. And then on March 8th, 1977, Columbia University student Virginia was shot while walking home from class. She lived just 1 block away from the previous victim, Christine. She was shot at several times and eventually died of a gunshot wound to the head. In the minutes following the shooting, a neighbor who had heard the shooting went outside and saw what he described as a short, husky teenage boy sprinting from the crime scene. Other neighbors reported seeing the teenager as well, and they also said that they saw a man matching Berkowitz's description in the area of the shooting. But the earliest media coverage implied that the teenager was actually the perpetrator, but eventually police officials determined that the teenager was just a witness and he was just fleeing the scene out of, hearing gunshots, and he wasn't actually a suspect. And then on April 17th, 1977, Alexander and Valentina were in the Bronx, several blocks away from the scene of the very first shooting. The pair were each shot at twice while sitting in a car, and both died before they could talk to police. Investigators determined that they were killed by the same suspect in other shootings because it was again the .44 caliber firearm.
What's it feel like when you get these guys?
It was pretty exciting. The interesting part was, though, no one believed I really got him. I wanted to get him because he was number 2 of the Taliban, and he was the lead operational commander of the Taliban. So in my head, he's the lead ops guy. So every U.S. soldier dying in Afghanistan, it's on his shoulders. That's the way I viewed him as a target. When we got him in a room and we started getting questions from what the CIA wanted from him, that's when I actually learned that President Obama had appointed like the special envoy, and his name is Richard Holbrooke, and his goal was to do Taliban reconciliation. So we sit down with him and want to collect info to go target other Taliban members, because that's what I do. I go after the bad guys, and I find out all my questions are, who would you be okay with coming to meet with you about peace? If I went back in time, I never would have captured him, because he is the reason the whole country fell.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
They were driving down a haunted road when they see this. Late one night at around 4:40 a.m., a woman by the name Jace was driving down Highway 897 in Alberta, Canada, when suddenly from the dark empty road, something horrifying shows itself to them.
Go faster! I'm gonna go in the middle. Oh my God.
What looks like the figure of a woman in a white dress can be seen walking by in complete darkness. Horrified by this sight but left curious as to who or what was that, Jace decides to turn around to get a better look and sees this.
She's walking yet.
Strange enough, what looks like a woman dressed in late 50s clothing can be seen walking by in the pitch black night.
Breaking news, an elementary school janitor has been arrested for defiling the cafeteria food. The school says they caught wind of the allegations after the suspect uploaded videos of him defiling the food to a texting app. Within the videos, you could see the school setting in the background. One of the things included spraying bleach into a container of cucumbers. They said he was also caught, quote, wiping his anus, penis, and testicles and spitting on kitchen utensils and bread. And he did so with the intent of harming the children. These utensils were likely used to prepare and serve food to the children at his place of employment. There are additional videos that show him doing even more lewd and lascivious acts. They said they were able to link him using recovered items matching the resemblance of those depicted in the videos. At this time, they are still trying to determine how recently these alleged acts occurred. They are now going through the school's kitchen to make sure that everything is properly sanitized. Furthermore, they say they are in the process of collecting bodily fluid samples from the suspect. This is to determine whether there's any potential for infectious disease transmission to anyone at the school. They said that the suspect was employed at the school since September of 2019. Keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
This fisherman was working at sea in the middle of nowhere when he heard this. His name is Ryan, and he often makes TikTok videos about his job as a fisherman. Ryan and his crew have reported strange and unexplained events at sea. One night, while far from shore, Ryan sensed a strange presence. Muffled noises were coming from outside his cabin, and when he went out to look, this happened.
I hear him. Where's he at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise?
quite clearly creepy. Something swimming at high speed seemed to be following them. Ryan thinks it might be a real mermaid on film. But Ryan can't know the truth, so tell me what you think in the comments. And here's an alleged mermaid, captured and filmed on camera in an unknown location.
At the crime scene, police actually discovered a handwritten letter addressed to the captain of the NYPD. Basically, in this letter, he was saying a bunch of demented stuff, and also this is when he called himself the Son of Sam, because originally the media had called him the .44 caliber killer or something to that degree, and he didn't want to be called that. He said he's the Son of Sam, and then at the end of his letter, he labeled it Mr. Monster. So he gave himself 2 nicknames, which doesn't really make sense. After this letter was found by the NYPD, they then began a manhunt. Set up traps of undercover police officers posing as couples parked in cars in hopes that the suspect would come and reveal himself, which honestly, I get is a smart tactic, but also at the same time, when he was shooting at people in cars, he wasn't going up and robbing them. He was just shooting them point blank, and the glass would shatter out of nowhere. So I'm the police were in very much so harm's way. But none of those actually ended up working. And then on May 30th, 1977, he sent in another letter to the Daily News, and the envelope had the words, "Blood and family, darkness and death, absolute depravity, .44. And it also referenced the last victims and mocked the police for its inability to find him. The letter was published about a week later and sent pretty much all of New York City into a panic. Women actually were changing their hairstyles and colors due to the fact that Berkowitz was going after women primarily with long, dark hair. Basically sent all of New York City into this frenzy. And then
People are upset over a video this influencer named Salma posted. Yeah, that's exactly what you think it is. A baby wearing a costume of themselves fresh off a surgery table. Looks like she got lip fillers done, fat transfer, tata augmentation, and a nose job. Wow. And this has so many people angry. Some saying, this feels very wrong. Meanwhile, poor baby just wanted to be a princess for Halloween. This is actually crazy. And My Little Pony was too much to ask for? Now, it's worth noting that I have no idea if this is Salma's child or she just found a kid dressed like that on the night of Halloween. But my question to you is this a funny costume? Or are the angry people just blowing it out of proportion? Let me know.